So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today we're going to take a quick look at our newest blade and whip weapon that was released with update 21.2, the Jat Kusar. If you want to get your hands on this puppy, you can get it from the Grenier lab in your dojo. The blueprint costs 15,000 credits, and then to build it, you will have to put in additional 15,000 credits, 7 detonite injectors, 7,500 salvage, 2,000 rubido, and 1 Forma. Now, the Jat Kusar is a mastery rank 10 weapon that does 80 raw heat damage. The interesting thing here is that even though it only does heat damage and doesn't have any impact, slash, or puncture, it is not a status-based weapon. The status chance on it is only 5%. This baby is a crit monster, and together with Fragger Prime has the highest critical chance out of all the melee weapons of 35%. It also has a very nice 2.5 times crit multiplier, so crit is definitely the way to go here. But the weapon is incredibly slow, with attack speed of only 0.833. But that's not everything, because the Jat Kusar also comes with 2 unique mechanics. Just like the Sylvan Aegis, the Jat Kusar releases a fiery shockwave when you do a slam attack. This doesn't do an awful lot of damage, but it has a lot of range and it knocks enemies down. But that's only for the fiery shockwave. If you hit the enemy with the weapon rather than the shockwave, it will still do its full slam damage. And the second unique mechanic has to do with a charge attack, which throws the whip forward and causes an explosion at the maximum distance. This, as far as I know, does blast damage because it does proc blast every now and then, ragdolls enemies, and does full charge attack damage. Though unfortunately I wasn't able to hit any flying units with this because the explosion always seemed to happen near the ground even if you aim upwards. Now, since this does full charge attack damage, it is quite devastating even versus high level units, and it adds a nice bit of range and crowd control on top of that. The setup I'm using on the Jat Kusar is a very cheap 1 Forma build where I've added 1 V, and it's a standard Blood Rush body count build. I'm using default Snapdragon for my stance, then I have Prime Pressure Point for damage, Blood Rush body count for longer combo duration and more crit as we build up our combo counter, then I have Organ Chatter for higher crit multiplier, Berserker for attack speed, and I would really recommend using Berserker over Fury or Primed Fury because, as I've said already, the weapon is incredibly slow otherwise. Then there is Primed Reach, which amplifies the already good range of the weapon to almost ludicrous levels. You have a lot of range with this weapon. And finally, Fever Strike with Shocking Touch for corrosive damage, so we end up with corrosive and heat. Now, since the crit chance of the weapon is so very high, you are going to see orange and red crits basically as soon as you hit anything, and you get at least 1.5 times combo multiplier. This means the weapon has significantly shorter ramp up than other crit weapons that use the Blood Rush body count combo and are not using True Steel to boost the initial crit chance. It also means that Berserker is going to stack up really fast, which is good. Now, you already saw what the weapon did to the Infested. It just decimated them, and it did the same thing to the Corpus, even though I didn't swap my elemental combos around, so I was still using Corrosive and Heat, and I threw in a couple of Eximus units for good measure. And this is actually quite impressive considering the weapon doesn't have any slash impact or puncture damage to compensate for the not so ideal elemental combos. However, when it comes to the Grenier, where basically one half of their roster is weak to corrosive damage and the other half is weak to radiation, you will notice that some units die really fast and other units, like Bombards, not so fast. This would not have been an issue if this was a status-based weapon, because the corrosive damage would strip away the Bombard's armor and then the sheer power of the weapon would take it down. But, that's where the best thing about this weapon comes in. Default Snapdragon. Say hello to my assistant, Mr. Billy the Bombard, who's going to help me with today's demonstration. So if we just use the button mash combo, it's going to take somewhere between 50 and 70 hits to take him down. Let's just speed this up because it does take quite a while. And there we go, we are at 53 hits with the button mash combo. But if we deploy Mr. Billy the second over Mia and we use the block combo instead of the button mash, you will see that the number of hits goes down from 50 to 70 to somewhere between 35 to 45. And that's because default Snapdragon has guaranteed slash procs on everything but the button mash combo, and these will work even if the weapon doesn't have any slash damage whatsoever. But we can go even further and do the pause combo, which is called Heart of the Naga. This combo has 2 guaranteed slash procs, one in the middle and one in the end. The important one is the one in the middle because it's a triple strike, so if you connect with the full attack you're gonna get 3 slash procs and it does 150% damage. So if we once again deploy Mr. Billy III over Nya, you're gonna see something awesome, because the amount of hits it takes to take down Mr. Billy III will go down to about 20. And there we go. 20 hits. That's about 1/3 of the hits you need with just the button mash combo. Now you don't have to use the pause combo, the weapon does just fine even with the button mash. I did a Grineer Kuva flat and I was deliberately just using the button mash combo and I had no issues with it whatsoever. But try to use at least the block combo. You will mitigate some damage coming your way and you will get some slash procs even though they're not as good as they are on the pause combo, which by the way isn't that hard to pull off either. You just have to put a short delay between each button input. And that's why I like this weapon so much. It does decently well with a good build if you're just running around and button mashing, but if you learn the combos, your damage output will skyrocket. And if you add the good range of the knockdown from the slam attack and the explosion you get from the charge attack, you get an amazing melee weapon that's very versatile and incredibly powerful. And I think I've been rambling for long enough, so this weapon gets a big thumbs up from me. You should definitely try it out. It's amazing. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching as always, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.